Well, I've got a special reality, being here with you. This is special. I'm so happy that we get to be together in this place today. Welcome to Christ Journey family. Those of you who are welcoming us into your home, on your space, across the nation, around the world, church online, we're happy to greet you and to invite God's blessing to meet each one of us here today. Jesus made a promise. It's what makes this special. He said, where two or three gather in my name, you know this promise? There I will be in their midst. So we have a special guest among us today, and I'm asking him to move up and down these aisles and in and out of these rows and to visit every heart in every seat for every home with his love and his joy and his presence. Would you say amen with me? Amen. Blow like the wind upon us, burn like a fire within us, flow like a river through us. Lord, by your Spirit, meet us in this place and this day. You know, I was going through some personal notes. I came across a conversation that I had had with my oldest daughter when she was 8 years old, some years ago. Corey said this: there was this boy she liked at school. And so she wondered if he liked her. And so what she did, she drew a little note. She wrote a note with the question, do you like me? And she'd drawn 2 boxes on that note, you know. Do you, yes or no? And her eyes were just full of excitement. I remember when she handed me the note and she goes, Daddy, he checked both boxes. Yeah, think about that. What do you think? Is that like the making of an authentic human relationship? Check both boxes. Do you like me? Well, yes and no. It's not like something Lisa would say to me. Humans can be so complicated, right? It's yes and no. It's not always either or. Sometimes it's both and. It's bad news, good news. The doctor said to the patient, you know, I got some good news and some bad news. Which do you want first? So, well, give me the good news. You have 24 hours to live. What? If this is the good news, what could possibly be bad? Well, I couldn't reach you yesterday. Yeah. Come on. You know you want to laugh, except it's kind of sad too, right? Okay, John 15 and 16, it tells, as Jesus is sitting with the disciples, and he tells them, this is how it's going to be like for them. That it's going to be good news, bad news. It's going to be hot, it's going to be simultaneous extremes. Guys, you know, there's going to be love, there's going to be hate, there's going to be good, there's going to be bad. Times are going to be hard. The world can be a difficult place. You know why? Because it's got difficult people in it. And he's telling them, you know, the times are going to be difficult. Can you relate? Like some people, you know, they've got their faces like a welcome mat. It says, come on in. Other people, beware of dog. You can just pick it up. You can sense who's who, right? You just kind of know. Like the woman, the guy came outside, he goes, wow, what a beautiful day. She said, yeah, but it's raining somewhere. Some people just have a way of looking for the bad news. You know what I'm talking about? In the upper room, the talks that Jesus was having, the last week of his life, he's telling his disciples, difficult times are coming, guys. The world is hard and it's about to get harder for you. And for us, he's wanting to tell them, so here's some ways that you can be ready to deal with it, and some ways for us by extension when those times come our way as well. When the world is hard and getting harder and is hurtful, what are we supposed to do? And he gives them some ways to deal with it. This is that kind of message, by the way. This is also a good thing because, as we've said before, right now you're either in a storm. Is this true for you? You're in a storm, or you're coming out of a storm, or you're getting ready to go into another storm. Welcome to the world. This is the world of storm. We're looking at John 15, starting in verse 9, the rest of the chapter into early 16. And Jesus says, here's some of the storms, guys, that you're going to face. Verse 18, if the world hates you, a world of hate. If the world hates you, just remember, it hated me first. Verse 20, if they persecuted me, if it turned into violence for me, then they'll also persecute you. Verse 25, they hated me without reason. It's like you won't always understand why, where the hatred's coming from, why people are hating. It won't always make sense, the hatred in this world. Chapter 16, verse 2. In fact, they will put you out of the synagogue. There is coming a day when anyone who kills you, come on, is going to think they're offering service to God. Wow. Kill you for going to church. So there's a scenario. This is Jesus' picture. Hard times are coming and they're going to get harder. And so Jesus says, I'm calling you to be different from the world. Verse 19, you don't belong to the world. This is not your core reality. Maybe your environment, maybe your surrounding, but this is not about who you are. I have called you out of the world. I've chosen you. I've chosen you to step to another level in a world. And that's why the world hates you. Still, is this good news or bad news? Can you tell? Jesus called them to be different from the world. Okay, hold up. Here's the way of the world. When you look at different, it usually leads to doubt and distrust. If you're different, then I'm not sure I can trust you. Takes me a while to get there. I may have my doubts about you because you're so different. And then that's going to lead to disputing, and then that disputing is going to lead to dismissal, or you know what we call it in our culture, cancel culture. You've been canceled yet? It was happening way back then. Jesus said, this is the way of the world. I don't want you to be in it. Rejection, persecution, it's coming your way. And remember this, he's telling them this just hours before. He's going to be arrested, falsely convicted, stripped, beaten, stretched out, crucified naked. Golly. Just hours away. So I'm thinking the stun setting has already got them. Maybe shock has already set in, like, what? How? Yeah, only hours away. But Jesus isn't telling them for shock value, and he's not telling them to freak them out or to scare them off. You know what he's telling them? This is what the text says. He's telling to bring them in and then raise them up. Verse 15, I no longer call you servants. Because the servant doesn't know his master's business. He's bringing him into his business. He's opening his heart. He's showing his hand. He's bringing him in. Instead, I call you friends. Wow, what a word. What do friends do? Well, friends share their burdens. Friends open their hearts. Friends embrace God's vision together. Friends share the load. And so here's Jesus. This is a scenario. Jesus, it's a hard world. It's a hurtful world. It's about to get harder. And Jesus says, I'm going to let you in. I'm going to let you in on what's happening, why it's happening, and how the relationship that we share is going to continue in spite of it happening in this kind of world. The way that they were to handle a hurtful, hate-filled world is through the power of divine friendship. Divine friendship. Jesus gives loving community that sustains and supports us in a hard, hateful world. Friendship, divine friendship that is marked by Jesus' love, Jesus' joy, and Jesus' presence. We're a Jesus church. We help people find and follow Christ around here. And this is one of the reasons why, because we're living in a hard, hate-filled, hurtful world. And sometimes it helps us to relate. Actually, I don't know when it doesn't help. When divine friendship pulls us in. And Jesus says, so here's the kind of friendship I have in mind. First, it's going to be marked by love. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Hold up, wait a minute. Just soak in that for a moment. As the Father Almighty, infinite, sovereign God has loved me. Just withheld nothing. He's poured it all out. It's all in. Jesus says, as the Father has loved me, now I'm just tipping that right over. I'm going to pour it right into you. I have loved you. I've modeled a father's love. Some of us don't know about a father's love like that. But Jesus said, I'm loving you the way my Father loves me, and I want you in on this kind of father love from me. Poured it all out. And so verse 12, my command is this, love each other that way. You've seen it, you've experienced it, now I want you to do it the way I've loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay his life down for his friends. Maybe you knew that verse, but you didn't know where it showed up. It's in the middle of learning how to face a hard world through the power of love. If you study Torah, like the religious teachers in Jesus' day did, you know that there are 613 commands in the Torah. So if you're a rule keeper, you got 613 check boxes that you want to say, okay, I'm doing it. Jesus puts the brakes on. He says, I got one command for you. Here's my commandment. You love one another. In fact, he says it 3 times in these parting words, love each other. Why? Because it's how we endure and it's how we outlive the hatred and rejection and hardship of the world. I would invite you to let his love welcome you, whatever hard place you're in right now, whatever hatred might have been thrown your way, that you can't make sense out of it. But he's saying, I got love that I want you in on. Second, it's part of the divine friendship. Having God as your friend means that you're going to have the love of Jesus available in your life. Jesus' joy, verse 11, I've told you this, that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is so ironic. How in the world does this happen? How can you have a talk about joy when in just a matter of hours he's going to be stripped, beaten, and stretched out on a Roman executioner's rack? And yet that's exactly the audacity of Jesus. I've told you this so that my joy might be in you and your joy might be full, might be topped off. In other words, Jesus wants his followers to have the fullness of joy. He wants to keep us topped off with joy. Are you running on fumes? You got a half a tank full? You know, something that's just strange, but I always feel better if I'm looking down at my gas gauge and it's all the way over to full. Just somehow it makes me feel better driving than if it's half or under half. I don't know what that is, but he says, you know, Bill, you don't have enough joy in your life. Maybe he's saying that about you too. He wants to fill you with joy. Joy is different from happiness, you know, but Jesus is the way we face a hard and hateful world is through the power of joy. The joy of the Lord is our strength, and Jesus is tapping that strength in his hour of hardship and hate-filled hurt, and he's got a lot of things in his life he's not happy about. The text tells us. He's not happy about sin in the world. He's not happy about injustice. He's not happy about dying. He's not happy about suffering. If there's another way, he's not happy about being betrayed. He's not happy about being crucified. Happiness depends on happenings, but joy takes us into a deeper power. And Jesus said, this is how we're going to make it. A centered calm that was glad in the favor of God. What does fullness of joy look like? What does it feel like? Maybe you've experienced it in the middle of a chaotic, confusing time, that there's this centering, a centered calm that is full of gladness. It's glad in the favor of God, in the strength of his grace. I may feel weak, but his grace is strong. The writer of Hebrews, how many times have I been encouraged by this verse? If you haven't memorized this one, you're not familiar with it, boy, this one's great to write in your heart. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, Hebrews 12:2. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. He started it up. He's going to carry it out and finish it off. My eyes on you, Lord. You started it. I don't know if I can make it, but you're going to finish it. Who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising its shame, and is now set down at the right hand of God. That's the seat of authority and honor on the other side. Jesus saw beyond the circumstance into the joy. So here's how we do it. You in a hard time? You in a hurtful time? You got some hate going on in your life coming at you? Here's how Jesus says you're to face it. Tap the divine friendship and choose love, and then choose joy. And then choose presence. Freedom of choice is at work here. God's presence and each other's presence. In other words, we're to choose togetherness. What's togetherness? Togetherness is I'm here for you. We're being here for each other. And togetherness is we're being here with each other. So when you're together, you got somebody that's for you and with you. And that's what Jesus says, we're going to do it this way. Sometimes around here, we'll say, this is a hard time. This is a hard thing. But you know what? Then we're reminded, we do hard things at Christ Journey. We know how to do hard things at Christ Journey. You know how we do them? Together is one of the ways. And Jesus said, this is how we do it. Don't try to hang out there by yourself. No, be there for one another and then be there with each other. Verse 26, when the advocate, this is Jesus, when the advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father. Hold up, there's divine friendship right there. The allness of the Godhead is right there. We just sang about it in a song, but you got the Father, the Son, and the Son says, and here's the Spirit. So you got Jesus saying, guys, the community of God is available. The friendship of God is going to sustain you through this. And when the advocate comes, he's the Spirit of truth who goes out from the Father. Why does that matter? Because when you're stuck in a fog of war and things are confusing and you can't quite see clearly, the Spirit of truth says, here's the way. And other people in the fellowship can give you eyes you don't have and lift. He will testify again about me. So he's going to tell the truth in a way that will bring freedom in the midst of the hardship. So the friendship Jesus is showing them and sharing with us, he's now empowering by his Spirit for us to share with each other. Are you with me? You see that? You feel that? This is how, maybe you're in a hard time right now. Maybe some of that hatred that doesn't make sense is coming at you. How you go through it? Well, you get to choose love, you choose joy. I'm not talking about superficial. This is the deep end of the pool. But it's through divine friendship. Jesus said, the Spirit will testify about me. That word means bear witness. He will give evidence. He will keep the experience fresh, in other words. That the Spirit's job is to show up with you in the hard place and then keep the power and presence fresh, giving evidence, not just in words, though what you say matters a lot, but in how you behave, what you do, to keep your experience fresh. Verse 27, and you must also testify. Jesus is saying there's something for you to say. Guys, you're in the middle of this. You want to know how to get through it? Watch the way you use your mouth. Because what you say is significant. You got to testify. Why would I testify? Because of the witness. There it is. This is the ministry of presence, the ministry of togetherness. How do you help people know that you're with them? Well, you show up with your words, don't you? Shows you paid attention. And now he's saying the ministry of presence means that you will be bearing witness and giving evidence that will keep the experience fresh. And why does that matter so much? Well, I can testify from personal experience. When I'm on low fumes, it sure helps me to hear from somebody else who's topped off. When I'm in a cloud of war, it helps me to hear from somebody who says, Bill, remember, give me the truth. Where are your eyes? What's going on with your mouth? What's happening in your heart? This is how we do it right here. The ministry of presence means that we bear witness. This is why groups matter so much. So you got somebody else bringing eyes on your life. You got somebody else speaking truth in your life. And then you can be there when, you got each other's backs. We're with each other. We're for each other. That's what Jesus is saying. And I'm telling you, this happened for me recently with Caleb Lopez. I don't know if you've met Caleb yet. He shared his story responding to God's call to serve as campus director of our South Miami campus here at Christ Journey. We're going to open that campus up probably December, January, we'll see. But he was telling a group of ministry leaders that we had gathered, and these are ministry leaders who are like load bearers. They're development partners. They like to show up and help other people. They step up. These are not paid staff, but God has them on his team, on his staff. And so we had a group of them meeting, and he was sharing with us what it feels like to say yes when God calls. And this is what he said. He said, for about a year since we broke ground, I'd been asking the Lord where he would have me serve. Where can I be of the most use? Where can my gifts and my talents show up? And then he said this, not once did I think it would be campus director. But when Bill and Ryan shared with me the vision for this role and the staff that would be organizing around it, that God was assembling, then that's when I started turning the page from, this is not doable, to, this is going to be amazing. He said, after more prayer and conversation with Angie, I felt a sense of peace and this confirming the call to take on the role. It's going to stretch me, but it's not going to break me. You've been in one of those places where you feel like, wow, I'm really getting stretched here. I'm out of my comfort zone. Something's going on, but you're wondering, I wonder if something's going to break. No, Caleb says there's this sense of calling that I'm being stretched. I'm moving to a different space in my reality, but I'm not going to break. The advocate's speaking some truth to him, saying, and then he said this, I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's the community of fellowship. That's what Jesus is telling his guys. And he's never let me down. So, after he got done saying that, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like divine friendship. Divine friendship at work. Love, joy, presence, God and one another. And when I heard that, it just lifted my heart. I felt lighter inside my skin, my spirit. And then he finished by saying this, you know what we're doing? We're going to win as many as possible, as soon as possible, by the most effective means possible to Jesus Christ. And if this message resonates with you, Caleb said, join me in saying amen. And that's what happened to everybody that was there. Got these amens popping up. Amen, 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 amen. My amen was in there too. You want to know how you can endure and survive and succeed in a hard, hurtful, hate-filled world? Learn the power of amen. The power of saying yes to divine friendship that is full of love, overflowing with joy, and always keeps you topped off. And then full of togetherness with God and with each other. We're here for each other. We're here with each other. We do this thing together. And this is the way to higher ground. We're anticipating the completion of our campus in South Miami. And as part of that, we're initiating something called Go and Bring. Came right out of the Great Commission that I just quoted. Go and bring means go where he sends you and bring someone with you, because you never know what breakthrough God might have for somebody on a day like today. Somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, somebody that you could be a missionary for, actually. And so today, I'm inviting you to join me as we continue our prayerful effort to decide where is God leading you and leading us forward. We've already asked our staff and our development partners and our volunteer corps. Now we're rolling it out to the rest of the church body and saying, would you prayerfully decide where God would have you connect in the years forward as concerning South Miami and Coral Gables. And so here's what I'm asking you to do today. We're not forcing anybody to make a decision one way or the other. It's up to you. But I would invite you to ask the Father, I'm yours, the church is yours. Where would you like me to go, Father? And then listen to him and say yes to the call. as you say yes, you might also want to just look at the map and see which is closer, which is more convenient. When I think about the people that I care about, my family, my friends, what would be easier for them to connect with? Is it going to be easier for them on the map to connect with us at South Miami, or is it at the Gables? And then you can ask yourself prayerfully this, and then talk with your group. Hey, you guys doing this? What are we doing? Are we going to be together? Are we going to? Or what about the people that serve so that you get your needs met around here? It might be good to talk to them. How did they pray about it? How did they make a decision about it? And then finally, go and bring. We're all going to be on mission together. Whether you stay on mission in Coral Gables and now you bring people here so that days like today can happen and we get to help angels sing, or you follow God's call to South Miami. Today at 2 o'clock, you'll be receiving an email. I'm talking to people who've allowed us to connect with you with information. You'll be receiving an email. You can just click on there as you start praying about where you will go and what you will do, and you'll find some help. And our hope is that most of us will have made a decision by the early September so that we can start then prayerfully making our preparations that will roll out December, January. So stay tuned, okay? But I wanted you to know that. And now here's Pastor Desi with some closing word.